there, my name is Rebecca Timish, and I am the campaign manager for Free the Pill at Advocates for Youth, which is an organization that works to ensure young people's sexual and reproductive health and rights, and I'm proud to work here. I'm so happy to be hosting this panel today as part of Advocates for Youth Sex Ed for All Month. Every May, organizations around the country observe this month as a time to highlight the sex ed that young folks are getting and they're not getting. So we thought it would be interesting to have a series of conversations directly with the young people about what we didn't learn in sex ed, what we wish we had learned, and what we've learned from each other. Today's topic is birth control. So I'm proud to pass it over to our friend and colleague, Tiffany So, who is an editor at Rewire, which is where we all go for our news related to the fields, and she's going to take it away. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you, Emily. I'm so happy to be here with all of y'all today, and so excited to learn a little bit more about Free the Pill and Advocates for Youth and the work that y'all are doing, and also to just get to know each of you a little bit more and figure out how you got into this work, and a little bit about your own relationship to birth control. So as mentioned, I'm Tiffany So, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm an editor for Rewire News, and I'm based in Brooklyn. I would love to just jump off by asking each of you, and I'll probably direct it to each person so that we don't speak over each other, but just to get a little bit of information about how you ended up kind of going down your own birth control journey and how you got into this work. Just to get started on the topic of birth control, how many of us here are on birth control? You can just raise your hand. Okay. Yeah, so do either of y'all want to just talk a little bit about, what type of birth control that you use and how your pathway to finding that right birth control for you? Gabby?
I've been on a few different birth controls. I'm 22 years old. I started birth control when I was in 6th grade. I had really bad periods, later diagnosed with endometriosis and PCOS, and that was the safest way for me to continue. I've tried multiple methods. I've tried the pill, I've tried the patch, I've tried the implant. So the next one I'm working on is to try to get the IUD, and maybe that'll work for me, because sometimes birth control pills don't work for me.
And did you mention something about PCOS?
Yes.
Do you want to just tell everyone a little bit more about that?
So I have both PCOS and endometriosis. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's very common in most women across the United States and other countries. Most people do have it. It is very painful experience. It leads to heavy bleeding and painful periods.
Yeah, Jaden, how about you?
Hi, so my birth control story is a little different than everyone else's here. I'm actually a trans man, so I am on testosterone and these little vials like this. So it wasn't necessarily because I wanted birth control, it was mainly to deal with gender dysphoria and all that. I wanted to get a deeper voice. I wanted to grow facial hair. I wanted to go outside without fear, but also it does control my ovulation, which I'm able to track because I do have a good gender-affirming doctor who does track my hormone levels whenever I go to her and all that. So I know for me, it's an effective birth control, but sadly, not everyone who's on testosterone, there's not exactly a way to know if it stops your ovulation unless you're tracking it. So because doctors kind of don't care to see it that way, they don't track it as much, but luckily I can. It was basically the first birth control I went on because again, it was mainly because I was wanting to transition medically, and my journey took years and years and years from being Catholic, so there was a lot of stigma, my family not understanding. I had to turn 18 first just to be able to do it without my parents' permission. Then I had to dodge through insurance hoops, finding someone who would take me, driving an hour and a half to the appointment. But now I'm here and it's worth it. So that's been my birth control journey.
Yeah, that's so interesting because both of y'all bring up the subject of, besides, the journey being like a struggle, one that's not really easy for youth to navigate, but then also that birth control is also used for different purposes. It's not necessarily for the sole purpose of not getting pregnant, which most people see it as, but that, sometimes it is used for health purposes, or for gender transitions, or just a variety of reasons that we could get into. I just wanted to see if, even though y'all didn't raise your hands, Courtney and Roxana, if either of y'all had stories of your own that you wanted to share along these lines, or just anything to comment on.
I'd like to comment, like, accessing birth control has been really hard for me, especially because of my age, me being young, and like having to be prescribed it, or like if I wanted it, I would have to purchase it, and it was really hard. But yeah, I just wanted to share that little thing. So
Yeah, so thank you for sharing. So with me, pretty much I've been having a little bit of a hard time, especially with like school and work and all of these different things, getting back on birth control. Previously, I did try the NuvaRing, and honestly, that was like, it worked really well for me. The only problems I really had was like, you kind of have to insert it, and sometimes like it might, depending on what you're doing, it might hurt a little bit. But other than that, like it was a really good birth control method for me, and I wish that I could keep, continuing on it. But right now, the access to me is like a little bit difficult, and especially with COVID right now, I really don't know what to do. But that birth control really helped me control my PMS. It really helped me with like acne, weight control, all of these different things. So I am really hoping that I can get back on birth control as soon as possible.
Yeah, I just wanted to really thank y'all for showing up and doing the work that you do. And, like some of the things that y'all listed off that you would love to impart on young people. I just wanted to kind of list some of them off. They include activism and, getting involved with and, pushing electoral politics, stressing bodily autonomy, really just taking, agency for yourself and understanding that you are responsible for your own body. So you really need to take care of it. And then, resources like Planned Parenthood and Sister Song in the South, who do things like advocate for all of us. They help with, funding when you need it sometimes. They provide just amazing resources and services. And then just really, making sure that everyone advocates for ourselves. And I love seeing all of you do that for yourselves right now. Just knowing that there are young people out there leading the way for, a future where reproductive health is free and an unalienable right, which it honestly is. We just really need to see that happen. Yeah, so thank you so much for all of you for joining us and sharing your wisdom, and for Advocates for Youth for putting this all together. I'm really happy to have been able to be in y'all's presence and to have learned from all of you.